What is going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back. Grindberg here with the Undroppables, with the Chiefs Uncovered, bringing you an evolving situation. The Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver, Rashee Rice, was indeed the driver of the Lamborghini that was involved in the multi-vehicle crash in Northeast Dallas on Saturday night. His lawyer said Thursday in a news conference, now there are rumors that the Chiefs wide receiver could reportedly face jail time after 10.8 grams of marijuana was found in the Lamborghini. It was suspectedly found, so we're still looking at concrete evidence that is still hearsay. So all this stuff is really up in the air right now. So we're still looking at information, but that is an evolving story. So there is rumors of that happening. The attorneys insisted that Rice is cooperating with police in the incident. So we'll see what happens there. In Texas, possession of up to 2 ounces of marijuana is a Class B misdemeanor, which is punishable by up to 180 days in jail and a fine of up to $2,000. In most, this small amount of weed would be dismissed, but we'll see what happens. It'll be a lot to prove. Like, how would you be able to prove it? Who was? Where was it? Was it on the driver? He fled the scene. So, it'll be hard to prove some of that stuff. So we'll see what happens. The crash involved the Lamborghini and another car, the Chevrolet Corvette, and 4 other vehicles, left 4 people with minor injuries, according to the police. There is so much misinformation in this case, it is hard to keep up with. So as the story continues to unfold, worse things are coming up, and he is now the driver. So we know that, for one, could have drugs in the car, could be under the influence. So if this is indeed, true, they find all this stuff on him, a suspension could be lurking here. So more to come on this situation, and it's, ever evolving, and we're getting a lot of reports of different things, so it'll be nice to know exactly what really happened. So we'll see what happens here. Everything was kind of falling into place, like I mentioned last week on the show, for Rashee Rice. The Chiefs are set up for another really, really good season here. They were going to bounce back from their lackluster offensive performance, bringing in, Marquise Brown. Rice was one of the only bright spots last year alongside Travis Kelce. His snap count increased as the season went on. In the last 8 games, he averaged 78% snap count, and the addition of Marquise Brown was supposed to open things up for Rashee Rice. This puts the Chiefs now in a tough spot because it looks like there's more stuff that is building in this case, and we'll see what happens. It might put him in a spot where they may decide to actually draft that wide receiver in the draft, and there's gaping holes at cornerback. Their D-line just got shored up a little bit more today, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So let's talk about wide receiver again, and let's get into some prospects. Last week I talked about Ladd McConkey and what he would do in a Chiefs uniform, and this week we're going to talk about another guy that can maybe slip to the Chiefs, and that's a guy like Troy Franklin, and see what he would do in a Chiefs uniform. So we'll cover that as well. What a month it's been. It's been kind of just storyline after storyline after storyline, and it's just nonstop for these Chiefs, it seems. So we will see what happens in the next little while, and we're going to cover all of it, right? We've had free agent signings, we've had players in the news, we've had players leave. This is right after a Super Bowl, and it just keeps on coming. So we're going to get this show started without further ado. I'm Grindberg. I'm a proud member of the Undroppables, and I'm bringing you episode 8 of the Chiefs Uncovered on the Undroppables Network. All right, Chiefs Uncovered. Let's go, Chiefs Kingdom. The fantasy football season never stops. Did you know you can already draft for the 2024 season on Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play fantasy football? The big board is a pre-draft fantasy football content with all the incoming rookies in the player pool. Draft your team in 20 rounds, and that is it. Best ball format, so you get the optimal score to fill your starting lineup. A great way to get your dynasty startup draft picks without any league management. Only $10 to enter and over $2 million in prizes up for grabs. Be sure to sign up for Underdog using promo code UNDROPPABLES. That's undroppable, and you'll get your first deposit match up to $100. And now back to the show. So we've got a couple big storylines again this week. We've got a bunch of signings, some veteran players hitting, the Chiefs uniform, and we're going to kind of cover that right now. So the Chiefs signed Welsh rugby star Louis Rees-Zammit. The former rugby player quit the sport in January to pursue the NFL's International Player Pathway program, which he impressed with his good mix of size and speed. The former rugby star is 6'3", 210 pounds, and was able to run a sub 4.5 and at the 40-yard dash. So pretty quick for that size. Rees-Zammit will be in tough to make the 53-man roster. But if he were to do so, he would mainly be utilized on special teams, but also could earn snaps out of the backfield as a running back, or could also be used as on the line as a wide receiver. So coming in and learning the NFL game by the time the season starts will be a daunting task, but if he turns some heads in training camp, there actually could be an outside shot. He makes the Chiefs' 53-man roster. As I watch this guy's tape, he becomes more intriguing to me the way he dominated that rugby field. It'll be a wait-and-see approach with Rees-Zammit, but another, situation here where, they find some talent and we'll see what they can do. That coaching staff is known to do a lot, but this will be an interesting situation to keep our eyes on. The Chiefs also signed quarterback Carson Wentz to a one-year deal. Wentz joins the Chiefs with a wealth of experience, with being, his sixth stop in the NFL. His most recent stint being with the Rams, where he was the backup to Matthew Stafford. The former, first overall pick in the Eagles 2016 draft is headed to Kansas City and started 95 games, posting a 47-45 record as a starter. Wentz should be an upgrade at the backup position for Kansas City that was previously held by Blaine Gabbert. The 6'5" Wentz has been particularly successful with quarterback sneaks, a play that, Andy Reid hasn't let Mahomes, run in quite some time. So Wentz should fit in nicely in those short yardage situations. This is a really, really good situation for both sides, in my opinion. It gives Wentz an opportunity to, get back into an offense that is winning, in a system that is, winning culture. You never know, he could get into a game or two here, especially down the stretch if the Chiefs are winning, quite a bit of games, or if, heaven forbid, Mahomes goes down. He is somebody that could, jump in and be serviceable, and hold their own, especially with that defense. If Mahomes were to miss a game or two, and they could definitely at least be 500 while they're away. So the Chiefs have also re-signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire to a one-year deal. The former lead back took a backseat to the emerging Isaiah Pacheco in 2022, and it was looking like CEH was on his way out of Kansas City after the Chiefs declined his fifth-year option. It came to no surprise. It came to like a surprise to a lot of us that they did retain him. So the Chiefs lock in a key piece of depth that knows the system and has been a proven contributor in the past, especially with the way that Isaiah Pacheco runs. He is known to miss a game or two or be banged up, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire did serve in really well last year when Pacheco missed time. The Chiefs also brought in free agent running back J.K. Dobbins for a visit on Tuesday, potentially adding another depth piece to the running back room. It was early on Tuesday when that happened, and that was later on they signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So that signing doesn't rule out them bringing in Dobbins, but it does dampen that hope there. He'll likely take on more visits, Dobbins, and the Chiefs probably are still in the running, but they're not going to invest a lot in a guy that has such a injury background and coming off of two big knee injuries there. And another good news here is the Chiefs did sign last night Mike Danna. The free agent contract is a 3-year deal. Danna is only 26. He's a former fifth-round selection, 177th overall by the Chiefs in 2020. he was really good for the club, really solid performer. He's got really good pressures there. He filled in nicely when Omenegu was out there. The past season, Dana's best seen him play 16 regular season games, recording, career high tackles, career high in sacks, and he was key in the Chiefs playoff run. He had two, hits and logged over 200 snaps for the Chiefs defense. So a big addition back in with us. So I think that's a really good move. Now they shored up that D line of the pass. So really good moves there. And I think that needed to happen with all the variables that are going on outside of the Chiefs walls here. So we're going to just quickly recap the free agency here. So because it's been a really busy month for us, Chiefs Kingdom. The biggest splash the Chiefs made was, that 5-year historic $95 million deal and guaranteed money for Chris Jones. He is now the highest paid NFL defensive player in history. What a deserving contract. Drew Tranquill has been retained. The linebacker, reached a 3-year agreement with the Chiefs. He adds versatility, especially with Willie Gay moving on. I think that was a huge move, and they decided to put their chips on Drew Tranquill, and I can't blame him for doing that, seeing how versatile he was, especially when Nick Bolton missed time last year. So Dion Bush, the safety, re-signed with the Chiefs, and then that D-line, like I mentioned earlier, you had Natty, Wharton, and Pennell all coming back. Great signings for the Chiefs. That D-line is now back intact, and, they're going to be able to create that pressure now moving forward. So incoming players, we got a couple here. The Marquise Brown was the biggest player the Chiefs brought in as a free agent, and he signed a 1-year deal. It gives the back-to-back Super Bowl champions a legit threat downfield. And, depending on what's going to happen with this Rashee Rice situation, they may be relying on Marquise Brown more than they actually wanted to. So that's like I said, evolving situation that we're going to have to keep our eyes on. Irv Smith Jr. is now a Chief after a 1-year deal, 1-year stint with the Cincinnati Bengals. Just a depth piece there for the Chiefs. I'm also looking at them bringing in another bigger blocking tight end for that third spot. So I can't see Irv Smith being a huge contributor here for the Chiefs down this year, but we'll see what happens. And then all the big players that are out, and that was the big one here, and that was L'Jarius Sneed getting traded after being tagged by the Chiefs to the Tennessee Titans. And the Titans signed him to a monster deal. You can't blame him, but Sneed's now moving on, and now we got a huge hole to fill there. Willie Gay signed with the Saints. He is gone. And then Nick Allegretti, that's another tough one for us here because he was such an unsung hero of the Chiefs' incredible playoff run. He stepped up in the postseason. He replaced Joe Thuney in the AC Championship game, and he was kind of like that 6'0 lineman that just was invaluable. We don't have that luxury anymore, Chiefs Kingdom, and it's sad to say. Good on the Commanders. They're getting a great one in Nick Allegretti, and I'm happy for him getting the money, and now he's going to be a starter there. So way to go, Nick Allegretti. I'm happy for you there. Now, still another contract that's kind of up in the air, and with so much uncertainty in the Chiefs offense right now, Jerick McKinnon is another one there. So we'll have to see what happens there. I could see them bringing him back on a veteran, discount deal, but like it's been mentioned before, McKinnon has now won the Super Bowl here. He may be going out, at his age to try and get some money, but I'm not sure anybody's going to be looking at him at his age to fit in. So it just might be the right spot for him to come in. And then now, last week, I talked about Ladd McConkey and what he would look like in a Chiefs uniform. And, me and my rookie wide receivers, I'm high on them, and I want to see them, in a Chiefs uniform. I want to see them get a solidified first rounder. But we know that the way the Chiefs draft and we want to be smart. We want to make sure that we get the right pick, and we're not reaching on anybody. So if a player like Troy Franklin can slip to the Chiefs, that might be the situation that we that we all might be wanting here. Last week, like I mentioned, I talked about Ladd McConkey, and I'm thinking about other guys I'd love to see don a Chiefs jersey, like maybe Xavier Worthy would be great, but I think the Chiefs would need to move up from that 32 if that were to happen, because I just think with that speed, Worthy is going to be drafted earlier than that. So the prospect I'm quite a bit high on is Troy Franklin, and he may be another option that could be available to the Chiefs. especially after his rough combine. He's a wide receiver class. It's so talented and deep, and people are having a hard time, putting all the pieces together. It doesn't help that, these guys are just falling and rising these draft boards after all these, testing measurements are getting done. And, Troy Franklin was being touted as the top 5 wide receiver headed into this draft. And, in a lot of circles, he's faded out of that because of his combine. He didn't test well there. He started with his 40-yard dash, which was, 4.41, which is respectable for a wide receiver. But, with the others in this class that were super, super fast, a lot of them were in the 4.3s, and Troy Franklin was 10th in that in that scaling, and that's not very good when you compare when you think of how much of his game is based off of his speed. His 39-inch vertical jump was tied for 11th, so mediocre again. He's not testing in the high end range here. His broad jump was 18th, so another disappointing finish there. And his disappointment continued at the combine when he measured very much a lot smaller than what he was being touted as, just under 6'2", 176 pounds. So almost a full 10 pounds lighter than what he was listed at. So needless to say, Troy Franklin's stock fell, and that might actually be a good thing if the Chiefs can get him in the first round. So I'm here to tell you why I'm high on Troy Franklin, because in 2023 he had a monster season for the Ducks. 13 games, 81 passes, 1,383 yards, 14 touchdowns. He set the single season school records for receiving and touchdowns. He's got a great yards per route run. His first down per route run is 4th in the class. And he makes his quarterbacks look good. He was 4th in the class in his quarterback rating when targeted. So Troy Franklin has a lot of metrics that I like. He's tall. He's got a good combination of size and speed. He's light, but I think he's going to fill into his body a bit here. And he does have a physical play to his game. He can play all over the field. Perfect for Mahomes, who likes to spread the ball over the field. He's played all over the field, and he already has a good idea on how to play multiple wide receiver positions. So that would bode well for him coming in as a rookie in this tough Andy Reid offense to learn. They used him more last year off the line with design play as well, and in the intermediate routes. So this is all going to bode well, especially if a guy like Rashee Rice misses time. He can fit in there and do well in those situations that Rashee Rice did well in last year. Perhaps his stock fell just enough for the Chiefs to fall at 32, but who knows? I like Troy Franklin, and I think he's going to have a good, successful NFL career, potentially with our Chiefs. Now, that's it for this show. Next time, we're going to be going over probably a mock draft, headed into the NFL draft, and also we'll revisit our Spotlight series, and we'll take a look at another Chiefs that we're going to spotlight on the next show. So that is it for episode 8 of the Chiefs Uncovered. I really appreciate everybody tuning in to the series. Our show's growing, so thank you for following the show. Thank you for following the Uncovered series in general. We're getting a lot of traction here at the Undroppables Network, a lot of great feedback, and it's something that it sounds like everybody wants, and we're going to continue to bring on more people to represent their teams. So, the Undroppables are looking for anchors to drop NFL-specific content. Follow us on your socials to find out how you can be part of our elite team. Our turf, your content, their game. Let's go. So you will find this show and all the other Uncovered series on the Undroppables Network. We have a bunch of teams going right now, and we are bringing great team-specific content. So remember to like and to subscribe to this channel on YouTube and all our social platforms. And remember to follow me, Grindberg, at FF Canuck on X. You will find me there. You'll get all my content. And man, it's been a pleasure being here and representing the Chiefs Kingdom for y'all. This show's growing, and I can't be any more thankful for the opportunity you've given me to represent this team on this platform. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you again soon.